if anything is going to save the Earth, it's got to be something that's besides a linear time, other than a linear timeline. So this is what I took in to be able to write the book. And the last third of the book is about what you can do, because as we went through this, you know, the hopelessness that kind of comes up from this is overwhelming. You think, what can I do? How can I possibly make a difference? The very last chapter is a set of interviews that we did with people who have done just that, who have made a huge difference. And in fact, it's always one person who makes a big difference. Ask Gandhi, ask Martin Luther King, ask Jesus, ask Buddha. It's always one person. I'm not saying that anybody necessarily needs to do it at that level. But it's a time when we can't count on the government to help us. The government will, just like in the 60s, the government will respond to what we make demands on. And in order to make demands, we have to wake ourselves up. We have to be able to see this. As Carolyn said, we're not the only ones, or the Germans weren't the only ones who were capable of going into denial and saying, no, I didn't know about those camps. That was a message from the 40s up to the present. We're all capable of deep denial. We live in this every day. So the last third of the book is a description of what you can do as one human being to wake yourself up. And one of the first things I suggest is that you find out what kind of listener you are, that you learn to be a deep listener, that you find out how wakeful you can be. And as an example, go sit somewhere, go outside tomorrow and sit by the water and close your eyes and see what you can hear and write down what you can hear and just listen until you've heard 20 things, because they're out there. Not just the traffic, not just the planes overhead, but begin to listen to what the water sounds like, when a fish jumps out of the water, when the wind blows through the grass, when you feel a tree rock beside you. Those things will all pop up, and that's significant. You have to be able to hear these things. You have to learn how to do these things, because we are the generation, and the people in this room have an obligation to take what you learn and go out in the world with it. You know, I've sat at that table for 7 years, and I never knew where it was going to take me. I had no idea that this would become a part of my life. And if I had known what it was going to be like at the end, I can't honestly say. I don't know. I don't know if I would have had the guts to do it, to be honest with you. But that's why we don't get to know. That's what the mystery is about. That's why we show up for work with faith and an open heart, and we just do our best to follow its lead. So another thing I do is tell you to garden. And I don't care how much yard you have or don't have, everybody can do this. Even if you get a potted plant and put it on your fire escape or put it outside. I have an area maybe this big, then I grow 10 things in it. And they climb the walls and they go absolutely crazy, because the earth wants to connect with me. And when you move an inch toward the earth, it'll come a mile toward you. It's waiting for you. Because whatever else we are, you go back to the first chakra, to the first mansion, and we are earthlings. The myths that Joseph Campbell said, we have to rewrite myths. The myths that we had are not big enough for what we have to face these days. So before you're a Republican, a Democrat, an American, a man, a woman, whatever, you're an earthling. You're a little bit of earth. And there's a reason why in things like the Bible, you know, that you don't see everything starting out, the whole wonderful story of Adam and Eve. It didn't start on an iceberg. It started in a garden, because we're dirt. That's what we came from. That's what we go back to. So my message to you today is to absolutely read my book. I'm not going to stand up here and say, no, don't get my book. Go over there right now. I'm fine with that. But know that you must connect. And when you do connect, what happens, there's a Spanish proverb that says, what in the garden grows more than the gardener sows. And what that means is you just think you're planting seeds. You just think you're sitting in this class on a weekend. There is a whole process going on behind your eyes that you don't know anything about, and that is serving the cosmos. And you will get a call when the time comes, so be prepared. And when you stick your hands in the earth, when you roll cow manure around in it, when you plant seeds, you are inviting, that is a covenant. You are saying, okay, I'm gonna stand here in place of the farmers who are no longer our stewards, and because of their absence, this kind of nonsense began to happen. So each of us needs to stand in for where these gentle people once stood. These people who fed us wonderful food that nourished us, and which is no longer part of our lives in large measure. And yes, I say, great, recycle, drive a hybrid, don't drink out of plastic water bottles, go down through the whole list. That's all great, but if you don't do it without consciousness, you might as well not even try it. Because all you're doing is making your third chakra feel good. See, I recycle. I don't eat meat anymore. Well, that's all great, but if you're just doing it to feel good about yourself, the earth's not going to benefit from that. So do it with an open heart and invite the earth to show you where to go next, because it will. It absolutely will. So that's all I have to say for this question.
Holographic?
What I mean by that is that we don't have the time that it took to get us here to get back out of this. And there was a man, we were in Napa. Ted and I were in Napa. And we went to visit a biodynamic vintner in Napa Valley. And biodynamics is described in the book. It's kind of organics plus. And there is something about biodynamics that's done with the cosmos. It's done in cooperation with nature according to lots of seasonal agreements that you make with nature when you plant your seeds. And he showed us this incredible vineyard that he was the steward of. And we tasted the grapes. He showed us, all the acid content. It was just all this phenomenal winology that I can't even begin to replicate. And so we're standing on this hill, and we're looking over all this wonderful biodynamic stuff, and we're going, oh, this is great. No pesticides, no fertilizer, nothing artificial, all natural. And I look over behind me, and there's this incredible vista of all this beautiful winery. I thought it was the same thing. And I said, is that yours too? And he said, oh, no. That's conventionnel. He was French. And I said, oh, well, I know that you mean well, but all that's going to blow over here. It's all going to blow over here. It's going to contaminate your wonderful biodynamic stuff. You're going to lose your accreditation, blah, 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 blah. And he said, and he just laughed. He just looked at me and he said, well, he says, not necessarily. And I said, why? And he said, because it's up to the earth. The earth can decide when it will heal itself. The earth could turn all this around on a dime. But if I were the earth, would I do it? I don't know. Not too sure. I'm glad I don't have to be Gaia. The point is that there is a consciousness, there is a power, there is an intelligence in the earth that we used to know, that it's our birthright. It's part of who we are as earthlings, as little beings of earth. We can connect, and it is part of our spiritual birthright. So go forth and connect. Thank you.